Hey, just a quick note before we get into it. This is all using dummy data from within test portals. So there's no live data here. Just to let you know before we jump into the video. Hey, me again. I thought I'd do a quick demo on making the same automation in both Salesforce and in HubSpot. And I thought this would help elucidate some of the differences between the two. What we're going to be making today is a lead nurture workflow. So we're basically going to say, hey, after a certain amount of time, we'll send this person an email. And how do you do that, Ryan? Great question. Glad you asked. So we're going to start off with Salesforce. We're going to go into quick settings, advanced. As I jump between windows, Loom is going to vanish in and out. So just be aware of that. We're going to go to flows. This is where all the automation stuff lives in Salesforce. I'm going to do new trigger. We choose record triggered flow. So we're going to look at like conditions around the record. So there is a wrinkle here. This is the way I do it, but if you're a bit more coding savvy, you can do it with a formula evaluating tool in here. So what we're going to do, because it's a time-based thing, we have to make a custom formula property for this. Because we need that time since last activity. Like we need to have Salesforce grab it somehow. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to contact, and go new, and we're going to make a new thing. We're going to make a formula. And we're going to call it day since last activity. And it's going to be a number. And we're not going to put decimals on there because that's weird. And we can keep the field already. Let's call it number 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick out the field we want. Last activity is a date, and then we're going to do minus today with 2 little brackets. Yeah, that's basically giving us the distance between the last time they had activity and today. So if it's been a week, it'll be 7. If it's been 2 weeks, it'll be 14, etc. Do a quick syntax check. All good. And next. Make sure everyone can see it. Save. Save. And you can add it to the layout too, just in case. So now we have that piece. We're going to go back to Flow Builder. And we're going to choose condition requirements here on the contact. And we're going to choose all conditions are met. Do day since last activity. That one. And we'll do 80. 180. Let's do greater than or equal to. So if it's been more than 6 months since they've had activity, it'll throw them into this flow. So I'm going to save that trigger. Oh, and it's going to ask us to give it a name. So we do lead nurture workflow. We do email send, so just describe what it's going to do. Save. So this is going to grab all the contacts. And then we're going to put some actions in there. Yes, I know. Let's do action. Move my big head out of the way. Email. Send email. Getting in the way. We're going to call, because every action needs to have a name, we'll call this going to be the same thing. We're going to use a template. I haven't got one built, so I'm just going to pick one of these. For your use case, you can use whatever email template you want. Recipient ID is going to be the contact. So we're going to choose the triggering contact. And we're going to choose their email, because that's where we want it to go, ultimately. In a while. Do a tactical little sip while we wait. All right, let's back out and try that again. It seems to be cooperating. Email template. Let's choose one. Oh, recipient ID went in. Save it. And activate. And we're done. Nothing else we need to do. So now we're going to jump to the HubSpot side. Quick transition. Hey, so now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it in HubSpot, just to show you how easy this is to do. We're going to go over to automation, workflows. We're going to create a new one from scratch. And we're going to choose when they meet a filter criteria. Contact, properties, last activity. And this is how nice this is. We can say, is today, is this week, tomorrow, last week, whenever. Like, this is super flexible. So we're going to do last activity. Let's see if we can do more than. Is more than 180 days ago. That's going to get everyone that hasn't done anything last 6 months. Next. We're not going to choose to re-enroll them because there's a chance they could jump back through. Cool, that's the trigger setup. Now we're going to go through and we're going to set an email. Say send email. Let's choose one. That one will do. The enrolled contact. Then we're going to click save. We're going to name it. And the review and publishers are going to tell us how many contacts that might be potentially thrown into this. This is good because Salesforce didn't do that. And we're going to choose no, only enroll contacts that meet the criteria moving forward. So this is saying, hey, you retroactively got 12 in here. I say no. Salesforce didn't do that. Salesforce just gave us the keys and ran with it, which isn't great. I click next, next, next again, turn it on, and we're done. How easy was that? And what we can do as well, which is another cool thing that Salesforce doesn't necessarily do, is we can check enrollment triggers. We can set revision history. We can look at performance. So we can see how this is doing over a trend. Enrollment history, like we can view the logs in here much easier than we could in Salesforce. And critically, when this fires, it's going to show up on the contact page as well. So you'll be able to see that it's ran on the contact rather than having to go and dig in a rabbit hole to find out where it is. Like we don't want to be looking in the logs in Salesforce. No, we'd rather have it straight on the contact page. So yeah, 2 examples of how to do the same thing in both systems. Which one's easier? Which one do you prefer? Let us know. If you want to build stuff like this, give us a call. All right, bye.